Moonlight and stars shine in the sky on a dazzling night. A taxi driver honks his car horn and thinks he hasn't gotten a single person at night, so he wants to go back home, take a bath, and sleep. He was in his thoughts when a girl jumped up in front of his car. The car squeaked as he stopped it with an emergency brake, and he cursed shit. She pulled out a knife and opened his car door to settle in, but he didn't notice the knife in her hand. He told her angrily that she did not book the car, so she could not ride in his cab, but he had no idea what she would do next. What worse could have happened? Well, here she's threatening the shit out of him with a knife and telling him to go to Zhongliuan. He was scared to death as he said to her, "This taxi is at your service. Please fasten your seatbelt." And here we go. She gave him the directions to the destination as he speeded up for his own sake. She asked him for his phone. He responded flirtatiously with a bit of nervousness. "Beauty, my mobile is out of date and worthless. Why don't you rob me?" Her blood boiled up in anger, and she shouted at him, telling him to give her his phone because her phone's dead. The guy handed her his phone, as he seemed annoying to her. He said that she shouldn't have this attitude when hijacking a car. She completely ignored him and dialed a number to call. When the other end of the line picked up the call, she said, "Hello, I'd like to call the police. I'm Liyume, Class 7, Grade 3, Zijing Middle School. My friend is being held captive in an old factory building in Zhongliuan." He was surprised to hear her conversation on the call. He shouted at her that she robbed him to drop her off at Zhongliuan, and he almost peed in his pants. Liyume felt guilty for what she did to him, so she told him to come to her school tomorrow, as he remembered from an earlier conversation, and she would compensate him for the loss she caused him tonight. Liyume also told him wordly that her sister was kidnapped, and she sent Liyume a distress signal when the kidnapper wasn't paying attention. But Liyume didn't mention to him that she was not Liyume's sister by blood. After listening to her, he decided to help her, since it's to save people. There is no time to delay, and helping women is the foundation of happiness. He drove the car as fast as possible, and in no time, they were in front of the building. But the problem was, she was vomiting because of his fast driving, and he coolly said no problem. She told him to leave and remember to come and see her tomorrow because she doesn't have time to delay things anymore. He wondered then is it safe for a girl to go alone? When Liyume left, another girl appeared, asking him if he wants some seafood. He said to her that he doesn't eat smelly seafood, so she responded to him with a warning in her tone. "Then you can come back tomorrow, and you can turn to the sign of that girl just now so that you can eat a fresh one." He looked at her suspiciously and didn't respond to her. On the other hand, Liyume was searching for her sister, calling her name. Then she saw her sitting on the chair, tied with ropes and her mouth covered with tape. Liyume thanked God and asked her if she was okay, as Liyume was getting her out of it when a man's voice came from behind. There were around 7 men, and one of them, who looked like the leader of the group, said, "It is a deep sisterly affection, but it is a pity that she is not intelligent enough to barge in alone. Now that you are here, you won't leave." He said it with a dirty grin plastered on his face. Liyume understood that it was a trap for her. He laughed maniacally. "Liyume appears to be able to fight," the other guy said, and one of them even mentioned he likes it when she fights. Liyume also prepares herself to fight with them. But then the sound of something clicking on the wall came behind them, and they turned around to see our hero standing there with knives in his hand as he said that his passenger left something in his car and he's delivering it to her. Liyume recognized him and was shocked to see him there. She asked him why he followed her and said that it's dangerous here, you should quickly leave. The group's leader was annoyed to see him there as he was another troublemaker for them. He instructed his group members to fight him to teach him a lesson. One of the men attacked him with a bat, wanting our hero to die, but when he swung the bat, our hero was nowhere to be found. A voice came from the top of the container. Our hero called him, saying, "Up here." When the men looked upwards, our hero asked dashingly, "Looking for me?" There was another container next to him, so decided to show some charm, and he astonishingly made a flip and landed on the other container. Everyone was shocked to see how fast he was. He hasn't done a flip for a long time, so now he's feeling a little dizzy. He sat down for a rest while everyone's mouths were wide open. As the gang leader sees all of this, he becomes enraged and demands to know where the hell the man is from since he dares to meddle in his affairs. So our hero said that, as he said earlier, he's returning his customers' belongings. He winked at Liyume, telling her to give him a 5-star rating. Isn't he charming and attractive? Liyume gets irritated by his tricks, and she thinks that this person still has the time to joke around at this vital time. The gang leader said to the other guys dangerously that enough talk, and let's get him. The other guys followed their leader's command and were ready to kill our hero. But as we all know, he's our hero, so no one can hurt him. Everyone has their weapon ready, some have a bat, while others have objects with sharp edges. Before fighting, our hero tells the ladies to treat him for this, and with that, he jumped off the container and marched toward the gang. Each guy falls to the ground one by one as our hero defeats them all. Blood comes out of their bodies, and they wince in pain. The gang leader watched in horror as every member of his crew was eliminated by our hero, his eyes wide open and his face showing fright. Once everyone had been slaughtered, our hero confidently uttered the words "done" while dazzlingly flipping the knife in his palm. One of the guys asked to call the ambulance, while the other said that he pissed in his pants. Liu-mei was also surprised that she thought that this guy got some skills. Is he truly just a driver? While Liu-mei was in her thoughts, the leader pulled out a gun and pointed it at her head. He threatened our hero, saying that this was not over yet. He said to our hero, "Weren't you showing off just now? I want to see if your knife is faster than my bullet." Our hero smirked and said with confidence that he accepts his challenge. He angrily pointed his gun toward our hero and pulled the trigger, saying, "Die, you cocky brat." Liu-mei panicked, sweat running down her head at seeing the sight. Our hero also charged his knife toward the leader and dodged the bullet. The knife goes straight through the palm of the leader, pain rushing through his whole body as he winced. And our hero dashingly and confidently said, "You lost." The leader crashed into the pile of boxes and winced. Damn it, our hero threw a weapon on his face to knock him out completely. And it's a headshot. Score. Liu-mei was shocked as hell because she didn't expect this to work. She thought that he was almost like a heaven-sent knight in shining armor. Our hero claimed that, after all, he was the best. And here he's with his self-confidence again. Liu-mei thought, was she hallucinating at this moment? Next moment everyone was on the floor, and our hero was cuffed with handcuffs. The police officer screamed, "Freeze, put both your hands up." The captive was successfully freed. Numerous suspects were taken into custody, and there was no resistance. A couple entered the factory, searching for their daughter. The father looked for her daughter worriedly, saying, "Where is she?" And the mother screamed, "My precious baby girl." Their daughter called them "Daddy, Mommy, and I am here," and she started crying. They hugged each other, and everyone was sobbing as the father said, "Thank goodness you are okay." The hostage was freed, and the suspect was apprehended and taken into custody. Our hero said that the officers had got the wrong guy. He's a courageous, law-abiding citizen. The officer shouted at him that this is a very significant case and all relevant suspects must undergo a thorough investigation. They don't need it. The officer's captain entered and told them. The captain told other officers to go for other boys and leave this one to him. The officers left him and the captain there because they believed that if the captain decided to resolve this personally, the man was indeed dead. The other officer informed him that the captain was renowned for his brutality. They bet on 1 packet of spicy chips that this brat won't survive 3 minutes, 2 packs, and captain will be done in a minute. As they were gone, their captain lit a cigarette for the big boss and asked him, "What are you doing here, boss?" Our hero smirked. "Boss? Okay, so our hero is the captain's boss. Wayo. This is a big surprise." He responded that he had come to stretch his muscles since he was bored. Our hero complimented the captain that he dispatched in the shortest time, and the reaction was fast. It was not bad. The captain shyly responded that it was all thanks to his teaching. Our hero opened the cuffs with a click and said, "No need to address me as such now, I am an ordinary cab driver." He threw the cuffs, and the captain caught them, and our hero lastly told him to go home. Our hero left the building, the night moon and stars still shining high as he left to go home. Later he entered his room, took a bath, settled on his chair, and picked his photo frame from the table. He dried his hair with the towel and stared at the photo frame. Here we will take a minute to observe that our hero is handsome with some abs and packs. Woof. Continuing the story. He claimed that he was already registered as a student at Zhejiang High School and that he would follow his promise. The following morning, as the sun gleamed brightly and high in the sky, a teacher from Zhejiang High School entered the classroom and announced that a new student had just joined their 3rd senior class 7 and asked the students to give him a hearty welcome. Every student started shouting "Woo" as they welcomed the new student, and the teacher asked him to introduce himself. The new student introduced himself in a flat voice with a bored expression on his face, saying, "I am Liu Feng." That's it, nothing else for the intro. The girls in the class started drooling over him, in contrast to the other, who said to leave because he was hers. One thought he was attractive and fit her style. Who cares about the new kid, so stuck up, remarked the boy from the corner. But Liu-mei and her sister knew who he was and said as much. 2 of the class boys thought Liu was showing off, so they wanted him to feel embarrassed. One of them said to drag Liu and double his protection fees. They distracted Liu by asking him to look at them while one sitting on the outer desk placed his leg in the walking area to trip him. He wanted him to shame him by tripping on his leg. But Liu stepped on his feet and walked away casually as if nothing happened. Ouch! Tears streamed from his eyes as he cried out in misery, clearly in great suffering. The teacher asked if something was wrong, but no one dared to tell him anything. Liu took an empty seat next to a boy. The boy told Liu that he was excellent because he had just entered and dared to irritate Liu Kaikan. Liu asked him that is he really that great? And he replied to Liu that to make matters worse, the Sky League games behind him are vicious, and that's why they collect protection fees unhindered. He's the school tyrant. Luo said with an amazed expression that they must be rich because they collect so many protection fees. The other boy nervously said to him, I guess. The day goes by calmly, and the class ends as the teacher announces the class is over. Some students left, some were sleeping, and Luo was reading a book when a student kicked his desk. The two guys from earlier came to irritate our hero. Well, let's see what's going to happen to these two. They demanded to pay the protection fees as it was their rule to pay $2,000, and they tried to threaten him, saying if he didn't pay the fees, he wouldn't have good days ahead. The other boys in the classes started muttering as one of them said the new kid had to pay the protection fees, while the other one said that the new kid would most likely give in, and the other told them to enjoy the new show. The boy who found Luo excellent said, that's utter nonsense. It's supposed to be only 1,000. How can he charge Luo Feng double the price? Laik tucked him under his arm and said, what do you know, Tang dear? And Luo stepped on his feet, so it was time to pay him back. Li Mei and her sister interfered with the situation, saying, Laik, you shouldn't behave arrogantly in class, so settle your issues elsewhere. Laik replied that since when did Zheng's family's princess learn to stand up for others? It's not like your dad bothers with our gang's business. The other boys started muttering again and said that Zheng Wai was standing up for the newbie, and they were surprised by her interference. Another guy wondered if they knew each other, and the last one said that things are getting out of hand between Zheng Wai, who's with deep family background, and Lai Kun, who Hackian's the Sky League support. They were too young and already associated with the underworld, Luo stated while signing. He also proclaimed to them that diligent study would make them comprehend and that knowledge truly is power. And he also added that he aims to study hard and pass as Zhongnan University's graduate student so that his parents won't feel ashamed. The guy with Laik started laughing crazily and said, have you gone nuts? And exclaimed that if he became a graduate student, he would make a fool of himself. Laik said to quit wasting your time since he doesn't want to obediently pay up, so let's beat the shit out of him. They were going to give him a taste of their power. Luo closed the book he was reading and said he told them. He slammed the book in their faces and said that knowledge is power, so have a taste of it. Li Mei, her sister, and Tang stood there shocked, mouths wide open, and they exclaimed, so that's what he meant. The other three guys were also stunned and said that the newbie dared to beat their gang's man. The other one said that isn't that awesome, while the third one worriedly said it was over for Luo. Luo sat on the chair confidently while Laik and his other friend sat on the floor, scared to death. Luo said they have made him waste so much energy in teaching them a lesson, so the ones that should pay up are them. He also added that he knows that later they will crawl and whine to their superiors like the cowards they are, so they should help Luo pass a massage that today, after school, they must hand over all the protection fees to him, not 1 penny less. Luo said this to them in a very dangerous tone, like he would tear them apart with his bare hands if they didn't pass the massage. And in the end, he added that they should pass the fees to him directly and politely. Both agreed to his request out of fear because they didn't want to put themselves in further danger. He seemed very serious and nasty. The tables are turned now, according to the other classmates. Now, Luo is responsible for collecting the protection fees, and he's even more ruthless than the Sky League gang. Tang was confused as he thought, are they for real? And did they even go all out? But this is good. Li Mei and her sister both were mesmerized by Luo's greatness and courage. Li Mei questioned why it didn't go according to plan, but her sister asserted that he could handle it himself. As they were talking, a woman entered the class, distracting them all. She asked them what they were doing and said the bell had rung. Laik and his friend said to Luo that he should count himself lucky and be more honest in the future. Luo didn't respond to them, and they returned to their seats. The woman introduced herself to the new student. She's the English teacher, Junling Meng, and she said they will start to revise how to use prepositions. Luo, sitting on the last seat of the class, yawned and thought that English class is boring. The teacher wrote the question on the board and asked students who can answer the question. And like every classroom, this class's students also don't want to answer the question, praying that the teacher wouldn't pick them. After all, everyone is scared to answer. Avoiding their teacher's gaze, some look nervous, and some show confidence on their face so the teacher wouldn't pick them. Luo was sleeping at the back, snoring. The teacher noticed him and said, who dares to sleep in her class? The Icy Beauty's class. This guy is dead. The students started murmuring again. And someone said that the last guy who did this went home crying. Something fun is going to happen. The guy from earlier said that Luo would get punished now, and he didn't have to do anything. The teacher tapped on Luo's desk, but he didn't wake up. Because of his behavior, the teacher became irritated. She grabbed her book, swung it towards Luo's arm, and asked him how he dared to nap in class. But Luo deftly avoided the book. The teacher gets more annoyed with him, and she wants to hit him, so she swung her arm in every way possible. But Luo avoids every single attack came from her. Perfect avoidance. Li Mei and her sister were again shocked as hell. Li Mei stated that this is so ridiculous. The teacher again attempted to kick Luo, but he avoided the strike. The teacher's foot then collided with the chair, and she groaned in pain. The teacher gets more and more irritated with him. Liu appears innocent when he awakens after playing dumb. He asked what happened to her, and the teacher replied a little calmly and annoyed that it was wrong for him to sleep when he's in her class. Here it was the English teacher's ultimate argument session, and if he can't follow up, he should put in more effort. Liu apologized to the teacher, explaining that he had to sleep because he had been up late studying. The teacher emphasized that this is not an excuse, adding that if Liu falls asleep again, he must step outside the window and listen from there. Liu made a shocked expression intentionally and asked the teacher if she wanted him to go to the widow's house and study. The teacher gets peeved at him as he uses widow instead of the window because of their close pronunciation to tease her. The teacher shouted at him for some good minutes. Her blood boiled up from anger, and Liu sat there as he seemed a little bored and nervous from what was happening. After a few minutes, the teacher said no, and the students declared that the teacher lost the battle. Now the teacher is also in shock that his English is so good and he doesn't even have an accent. She questioned who this guy was because even she couldn't do that. The teacher then left with an embarrassed expression and said she's leaving him alone this time and he need to learn to manage his time. And with that, our hero, Liu, won. The other students start mumbling again. One of them said that even the teacher couldn't win against Liu Feng. And one girl said that Liu Feng is too brilliant and she wants to give birth to his kid. Liu, on the other hand, thought to himself, in any case, he has been campaigning overseas for a few years. English is easy peasy to him. He is good at everything. He is our hero. Thus, it makes sense that he would be great and brilliant.
Miss Jun seems to be damn annoyed by the smartest student she had encountered till date. Liu Kainkun is not satisfied with what happened, and he questions the teacher, saying she was being unfair. Gone is the day when the heroes who stood up against unfair practices used to be appreciated. Here, Liu Kainkun was thrown straight out of the class. After some time, the bell rings loudly, indicating that the class has ended. A group of men are seen heading towards a classroom aggressively. Tang Dao immediately recognizes them as the Sky League's people and warns Liu Feng that he won't be able to fight against them. Liu Feng doesn't seem to care much about it, and he's in his own world. Tang Dao was in a hurry to leave, but the gang got a hold of him. There were almost 6 to 7 people, and now they wanted to target Liu Feng. The guy who led the group had to take revenge as Liu Feng dared to extort his fellow Sky League newbie. Liu Feng is not scared of the Sky League gang, on the contrary. He laughs his ass off because he didn't expect the Sky League's boss to be a dwarf and not someone tall and big with a scary aura. The dwarfish boss smirks and claims that Liu Feng will be dead. Liu Feng is up for the challenge, but he doesn't want Tang Dao to get involved and asks them to let him go. The boss cannot agree on this, as Tang Dao had helped Liu Feng to irritate him. Tang Dao apologizes continuously, but his sincerity is not heard. According to the boss, neither of them will be able to run today. The gang charges towards Liu Feng, and they wish to make him lick the ground. Not all wishes come true, and in rare cases, some wishes backfire too. Liu Feng grabs Boss Huang's neck and asks him to repeat what he had said earlier. Boss Huang keeps struggling to free up himself, but all in vain. Liu Feng suggests that the gang should let go of Tang Dao in exchange for Boss Huang. Meanwhile, Tang Dao wants to beat Boss Huang because he is the one who always keeps bullying him. Liu Feng gives him 2 options. Either Tang Dao should be dignified for once, or he could choose to be tortured by them and be a coward for life. Make way, guys, this is his time to shine. Tang Dao remembers how Boss Huang had enjoyed bullying him, and that's when he decides that he doesn't want to be a coward anymore. He kind of gets enlightened and starts hitting the members of the Sky League gang. Every other living being who witnessed this fight scene couldn't believe their eyes. After hitting Boss Huang, he feels great and declares Liu Feng as his boss. Liu Feng tells him to shut up, points his finger at Tang Dao, and informs the gang that if they want revenge, they should go look for him. Liu Feng then continues to pester Boss Huang for handing over all the money that he had collected from the students, or else he'll throw him out of the window. Today was indeed a terrible day for the gang as they met such a lunatic guy. Next, Liu Feng asks Dao to return the money to the respective students, and he readily agrees. It was no time to take care of the boss. Liu Feng drags Boss Huang by his hair and flings him out the window. Liu Feng wants him to die, and he doesn't care even if he is called a murderer. The news that someone got killed and that the new student killed someone wreaked havoc on the campus. Tang Dao is ready to share the responsibility, but Liu Feng kindly rejects his help as he knows that Boss Huang is still alive. Boss Huang may stink for the rest of his life, first due to his nature and second because he fell straight into a stinky trash can. Perhaps this was where he belonged. After all this, it was enough to recognize the Devil King. Later, when Liu Feng was strolling by the school gate, 2 men, probably a bodyguard and a secretary, came looking for him. Their boss waited for a long time to meet Liu Feng, so he gets into the car. The boss was none other than Zheng Haitian, Zheng Weiwei's dad. He was a famous entrepreneur and philanthropist. Luo Feng rubs his palm as he gets ready for an exciting offer. He was positive that this man wanted to meet him to thank him and give him some money because Luo Feng had saved his daughter's life. Luo Feng was all set with the deal, and he just wanted several millions. Moreover, he didn't even mind if Zheng Haitian threw the money on his face. Maybe he fantasized about it. Zheng Haitian laughed at his stupidity, but soon his expression changed when he asked Luo Feng the purpose behind getting close to his daughter. Luo Feng understood that Zheng Haitian was now suspecting him. It was kind of fishy because when Zheng Weiwei was kidnapped, he was the driver and then he saved her by coincidence, and now he is currently studying in the same grade, in the same class, at Saijing Middle School. Luo Feng turned and twisted this coincidence into destiny and asked Zheng Haitian to consider their marriage. He was fine even with a small portion of his billion-dollar business. Zheng Haitian wasn't joking here, and neither was Luo Feng. As soon as Zheng Haitian opened his mouth to warn this kid, Luo Feng kicked him so hard that he flew out of the car. The very next moment, the vehicle near the car exploded into pieces with a loud boom. Everyone was fine. Luo Feng had observed that there was no one in the truck and questioned Zheng Haitian if he thought it was a coincidence or if it was something he had arranged. Zheng Haitian now knew that he had misunderstood Luo Feng. It's always hard to be a good guy, as there will always be some dramatic misunderstandings. Luo Feng bids him goodbye and walks away. Zheng Haitian seems to be frustrated and angrily orders his men to send more people to protect Zheng Weiwei and find out the truth behind this incident. He then asks his men to send him to the hospital first. This man was in terrible pain. Maybe Luo Feng was too excited and broke this oldie's ribs. At night, Luo Feng sat all alone at the street stall table amidst the chaotic city. For him, even the street stalls seemed to be expensive. The lady boss politely asks him for his order, and he orders a bowl of egg noodles. Luo Feng sighs at his luck. The money he earned was only enough to pay his school fees, and he can barely afford his meals now. He slurps on his noodles and thinks about finding a suitable place to rent. Meanwhile, one of the customers rudely claims that there's a cockroach in his soup and flings away the bowl. The stall owner apologizes, but she knew that it was a false accusation. She was even ready to treat them to another meal, but it was hard to please those two men. They needed an apology and a compensation of $20,000. When the lady tries to reduce the compensation, one of them offers her a deal, saying that if she serves them for a night, the compensation will be lowered to $10,000. She finally comprehends the situation and warns them that if they carry on like this, she'll call the police. The two men stand up and kick the table furiously. They began to curse her and call her a bitch. They claim to be from the Black Fox gang and boss people around. People sitting at the other tables start to leave, as they don't want to cause trouble. They try to intimidate the lady by saying that she has to prove it that they are wrong, or else she has to give them the money or follow them as per the deal. Luo Feng puts his chopsticks down and tells the man that it's easy to prove once he vomits, and everything will be clear. The man wonders about where this kid came from and warns him that he shouldn't be a busybody. Luo Feng was too tired of living and meddled with them. He tells them that he was just making a suggestion. They continue to argue, and the man agrees to eat his vomit back if this wanker has the ability to make him vomit. Luo Feng didn't want to waste a minute and punched the guy hard in the stomach. The man bent down and vomited. Luo Feng then stepped on his head and pressed it to the ground to give him a clear view of his vomit. People standing around were shocked to see this lunatic kid who dared to provoke the Black Fox gang. The other member picks up a stool and rushes over to hit Luo Feng. Luo Feng wisely makes him trip over an empty bottle, and that bastard falls straight into the vomit. He compliments them, saying they are such good brothers who willingly share their pain. Luo Feng then steps on both of them and asks them to find the cockroach carefully, while he enjoys this disgusting scene that can trigger anyone's nausea. The gang member warns Luo Feng about their revenge and flee away with their vulnerable ass. The lady boss addresses Luo Feng as a brother, and she's literally grateful and doesn't know how to thank him. He tells her that it's fine, as he was just angry because those guys ruined his good mood for dinner. The lady exclaims that this meal is on her and offers him his money back. Luo Feng's eyes were shining when he heard that statement, but he decided to play it cool, and said that he didn't want anything in return. Damn, he so wanted that money back. Luo Feng then thanks her for the meal and tells her that he needs to leave as he has to find a place to rent or he'll have to sleep on the street tonight. The lady apologizes as she used money to solve problems in front of this nobleman. Why this guy? Luo Feng says no when he wants to say yes. Why on earth was he being such a hypocrite? Luo Feng soon notices a rental information poster, and what a coincidence that it's the same advertisement posted by the lady. A girl tenant just left her house so she could arrange a room for him. As they enter the house, Luo Feng notes that it's a huge one. The lady tells him that the house was for 2 girls, but one left today, and she didn't move all of her stuff, so he'll have to sleep outside tonight. They then discuss about the rent, and the lady formally introduces herself as Lan. She tells him to get comfortable and leaves. Luo Feng lands straight on the couch and wonders if the gang will come back to cause trouble. He can easily handle them. He sniffs around as the room smells so good, and he's glad that girls live here. He then heads to take a shower as he's so dirty. Luo Feng turns the shower on, and the water splashes all over him. A car stops right in front of the building, and a pretty girl gets out. She's so tired and decides that she'll never go to such boring parties anymore. She enters the apartment and hurries to take a shower as she smells like cigarettes. She almost undresses and opens the bathroom door, only to find Luo Feng fully naked and all sexy. Luo Feng immediately recognizes Miss Jun and greets her. Jun Lingmeng gathers herself and yells at Luo Feng. They get out of the shower and Lingmeng calls Lan to complain about him. Miss Lan was actually unaware of the fact that Jun Lingmeng hadn't left the house and that she was still staying there. Luo Feng apologizes to Lingmeng and tells her that it's not Miss Lan's fault. He gets ready to leave since he didn't bring any of his stuff. Luo Feng also promises her that he won't tell anyone about what happened today. Of course, Jun Lingmeng didn't trust him. Lingmeng stops him from leaving, and he kneels before her and praises her for her kindness. Luo Feng was hoping that she would let him stay, and he thanked her. Jun Lingmeng was okay with him staying back, but she wanted something in return. This brat had seen her naked, and she was sure to make him pay for it. Jun Lingmeng has to join the National English Speech Competition, which will be held 1 month later, and she wants to win. Well, that's the request. Luo Feng felt a bit of disappointment, as he thought that the condition would be massaging Jun-sensei all day long. That was obviously impossible given his shit luck. Lingmeng doesn't want anyone to suspect that Luo Feng is her student, so they agree to be cousins, albeit fake cousins, so that they could explain their relationship. After a while, when Lan comes to meet them, they tell her that they are cousins. Miss Lan was either glad to know that they were related to each other or she was prepared to face them and was really ashamed. She then invites them over to eat at her place tomorrow so that she could make up to them. Jun Lingmeng wanted to refuse her, but Luo Feng instantly agreed on their behalf. Miss Lan promises that she'll do her best to treat both of them. Once Lan leaves, Jun Lingmeng tries to talk about what just happened, but Luo Feng tells her that they should go as it's a free dinner and rushes to go to sleep. Lingmeng now knew that this brat was so greedy and shameless. At the Huang family's house, Boss Huang complains and whines to his big brother about what had happened and requests that he should take revenge for him. This guy was never ever beaten up so badly since he was born, and it was clear that they didn't fear the Huang family. Boss Huang's big brother agrees to handle the situation. The next day at school, Zheng Weiwei and Li Yimei seem to discuss something, and Zheng Weiwei asks Li Yimei to go, but she doesn't agree as it's none of her business. Li Yimei then jokes about Weiwei being so shy and assumes that it is because Weiwei likes him. Zheng Weiwei refuses, and Li Yimei provokes her to go and say whatever she wants by herself and tells her that she shouldn't be afraid of rejection. Zheng Weiwei gathers herself and heads towards Luo Feng. She stands in front of him with zero confidence, similar to a kid who stands in front of the teacher for her very first viva. Weiwei tells him that she wants to invite him to her birthday party. Luo Feng agrees without hesitation, tells her that he'll go to her birthday party, and thanks her for inviting him. Free food again. Zheng Weiwei's expressions show that she struck the lottery, and she adds up by saying that Zheng Haitian wants to thank him in person. The news that Weiwei, the most popular girl in the school, invited Luo Feng to her birthday party became a hot topic. After a while, Liao Qiankun informs Luo Feng that Mr. Huang wants him to go to his office, and his little underling Tang Dare is there too. Qiankun can't wait to see who will be the last one standing. Luo Feng had nothing to fear about and headed straight to Mr. Huang's office. As soon as he enters the office, Luo Feng spots Tang Dare, who stood there as if he were training hard to join the circus and replace a monkey. Huang Da asks him in a serious tone and tries to confirm his identity. Luo Feng greets Mr. Huang. Huang Da cuts the chase and hands Luo Feng the punishment file for Dare and him. They needed to write a 5,000-word self-criticism report, and they even needed to apologize to their classmate Huang. The mystery suddenly unfolds when Luo Feng realizes that Huang Da and Huang Tianai share the same last name, and he asks Huang Da if they are relatives. This guy really doesn't care about that 5,000 damn words of punishment thing. Huang Da was actually surprised and wondered what he meant. Luo Feng had thrown Huang Tianai into the trash, and that was nearly a murder. If it wasn't for his uncle Zhang Haitian, Luo Feng would have definitely landed in jail. Oh, so now everyone thinks that Jiang Haitian is his uncle and Luo Feng is his nephew. If that was the case, then Luo Feng was free to do any shit, and he doesn't need to fear Huang Dao either. Anyway, this Mr. Huang was way too lame. Luo Feng ignores him and tells Dare that they should go to the class and boosts around him, saying that if he needs to say anything, he should directly contact his uncle Jiang Haitian. Huang Da gets annoyed as she keeps calling Luo Feng back as he was still talking. But Luo Feng doesn't bother a bit and walks away disrespectfully. Luo Feng's speculation was correct. Huang Da and Huang Tianai were indeed relatives. Tang Dare knew that Huang Da was Huang Tianai's fourth uncle, and he was definitely taking revenge. Luo Feng had already guessed it by looking at their similar bold heads. Luo Feng has observed that Tang Dare always behaves so angrily when he mentions the Huangs, and he asks Dare what's his beef with them. Tang Dare indeed has a huge beef, but he can't do anything as those people are so powerful. Luo Feng asks Dare if they are more powerful than Jiang Haitian. Of course not. Those little pieces of shit were nothing when compared with Jiang Haitian. Phew, this news comes as a great relief to Luo Feng. When Tang Dare asks Luo Feng whether Jiang Haitian is really his uncle, Luo Feng gives him a mysterious smile. When Liao Qiankun noticed that Luo Feng and Tang Dare were alright even after messing with Director Huang, he had to inform his boss about it right away. After school is over, Tang Dare invites Luo Feng to his house for dinner, and Luo Feng never refuses when there's free food. Tang Dare also tries to self-invite him to Luo Feng's new rental house, but Luo Feng refuses him. Just then Huang Tianai teased them by calling them poor guys, and he declared that both Luo Feng and Tang Dare are dead today. Huang Tianai introduces Ma Zhen as his boss Huang Tao's best guy, and he was especially here to take their lives. Luo Feng didn't give a fuck, but Tang Dare got furious. Huang Tianai's half-brother, Huang Tao, and their father, Huang Taihong, were all involved, and his mother died because of their persecution. But they didn't stop there, they also broke his father's leg. Ma Zhen is Huang Tao's ace, and he could really fight. This thing worried and angered Dare at the same time. Huang Tianai makes fun of Tang Dare and laughs loudly, as back then it was his father's and mother's problem, as they didn't even see who they were facing and that they deserved it because of their ignorance. Tang Dare grinds his teeth in rage, but Luo Feng taps on his shoulder, indicating that he needs to calm down. He asks the reason behind Ma Zhen's coming here. Huang Tianai tells him that he knew that he had rubbed someone the wrong way, and makes it crystal clear that Ma Zhen came here to break his leg. He laughs his ass off and tells Luo Feng to enjoy the rest of his life happily on the wheelchair. The very next moment, Huang Tianai's evil laugh stops because Luo Feng grabs and holds him by his neck. Luo Feng asks him to repeat what he said, as he couldn't hear it clearly. Currently, Huang Tianai is like a dog being strangled to death. The gang members come forward to attack Luo Feng so that he will let go of Huang. Luo Feng wisely swings off Huang Tianai, and his gang member attacks his boss instead of attacking Luo Feng. What could one expect from a gang full of idiots? He then throws both of them away like trash. Ma Zhen can't deny that it was a nice one. Ma Zhen claims that the others are not his match and tells them to go away. He charges with all his might towards Luo Feng. The other members greatly anticipated his help, and they know that now this kid is done. Ma Zhen exclaims that no one could be faster than his punch and that people say this is the best punch. He challenges Luo Feng to take it. Tang Dare is worried and tells Feng to be careful. The tension is high, but as Ma Zhen reaches Luo Feng, he stops right there. Wait, what on earth had happened? Luo Feng kicked Ma Zhen straight in the balls, and that huge guy wriggled down on the ground in terrible pain. Luo Feng makes fun of him, saying that he doesn't have the world's best balls, and that's a pity. The crowd finally realizes that the new guy is too scary, and they are no match for this big demon. Ma Zhen cries in pain, and Luo Feng pities this big guy. He suggests that they should stop calling themselves the Black Fox Gang. Looking at how badly they fight, they should better change their name to the Black Kitten Gang instead. Though, Ma Zhen stayed on the ground due to the pain, but that guy wasn't going to give in so easily. He somehow takes out a knife, and he is determined to make Luo Feng bleed like hell. As soon as Luo Feng notices him, he applies his special move head to head and bangs Huang Tianai's head against Ma Zhen's head. The knife slips out of Ma Zhen's hand, and Luo Feng taunts him, saying that he cannot even hold a knife and yet he has the guts to play with it. He tells him to go back and practice for a few more years. Luo Feng, by that time, had snatched the knife and showed off some great moves. Ma Zhen covers his eyes with his hands like a baby who is scared of monsters. When he opens his eyes, his clothes are all ripped off. Why no one is talking about that great heart-designed underwear of his? That's so cool. Luo Feng then warns him, saying that whether they are from the Black Fox Gang or Black Kitten Gang, they shouldn't show up before him again. Otherwise, he'll definitely destroy them. The gang members run for their lives, followed by Ma Zhen, who is busy hiding his torn pants, and lastly Huang Tianai, who is dragged away by his gang members because he is not in a position to walk. After they leave, Tang Dao praises Luo Feng, saying that he was amazing. However, as a friend, he was worried about him because Luo Feng had offended the Huangs and the Black Fox gang. Luo Feng doesn't need to care about such futile things as he has someone backing him up. Luo Feng then puts a hand over Dare's shoulder, and they head towards Dare's house as their plan is still on. They soon arrive at a shabby-looking place. Luo Feng had never thought that there would be such an old-looking house. Tang Dare ignores him and tells him to make himself at home. Luo Feng also notices that the house is very clean, yet there's a strong smell of alcohol. A man is sleeping on the couch, and there are a few empty bottles of alcohol lying near him. Tang Dare covers the man with a blanket and introduces him to Luo Feng, saying that this man is his dad and he is drunk almost every day, yet he keeps the house clean. Luo Feng looks around the house and finds a photo, and he immediately recognizes that this man used to be in the army. He confirms it with Dare, and he is right. But now, Dare's dad is a drunkard. Luo Feng demands to know more about what happened between his family and the Huangs. Tang Dare shows him a construction site and elucidates by saying that back in those days they used to live there, but they were chased out by the landlord. The same night there was a huge conflict, and some people died in it, including his mother. After that, Tang Dare's dad also got beaten up that night, and one of his legs got fractured. However, someone covered up the entire situation with money. Yes, those people were the Huangs. Huang Taihong and his eldest son Huang Tao were the masterminds behind the whole scenario. After a while, they return home and see that Tang Dare's dad has woken up. He asks his son whether Luo Feng is his classmate. Luo Feng greets Uncle Tang, and he then asks Dare to buy some beers as he would like to drink with his dad. Dare agrees and leaves. As soon as he's gone, Luo Feng introduces himself and tells Uncle Tang that he is here for a reason. Luo Feng removes his jacket, and he wants to spar with Uncle Tang as a token of friendship. Luo Feng expresses his desire to have a fight with Uncle Tang, but he seems to be too embarrassed and covers his face with his palm. Uncle Tang tells Luo Feng that he is a person with a fractured leg and that he can't fight with a young man like him. He sums up by saying that he wants to rest for a while, and they can grab some drinks later. Luo Feng is in no mood to leave this old man alone today. He encourages Uncle Tang by saying that he was a member of the old Sharp Knife 17th Squad and now he can't even stand up straight. Luo Feng then questions his dignity as a former military man. That's when Uncle Tang felt that kind of zeal and got up to see what this young man had. Uncle Tang attacks him with a strong punch, and the friendly fight begins. When Tang Dare returns home, he is surprised to find his dad and Luo Feng roaring with laughter. He also notices that they both had a fight, but he hasn't seen his dad laughing happily like this for a long time. Uncle Tang tells his son that Luo Feng has been in the military before and they have a lot in common. He requests Dare to make some food for them as he wants to have a drink with him. Uncle Tang appreciates Luo Feng, who says that young guys like him are much better than his generation. But Luo Feng doesn't agree, as he finds that Uncle Tang is still great enough. Uncle Tang knew that Luo Feng didn't use all of his energy while fighting and asked him if he was also from the Sharp Knife Team or the Sharp Sword Squad. Luo Feng declines, and this makes Uncle Tang a bit anxious. The Sharp Knife Squad only recruits the best from the best, and each member could challenge several enemies at a time. Uncle Tang concluded that if he was not from the Sharp Knife Squad, then he was definitely from the Masters Team, which has all the top masters from different areas. Yeah, that's right. Luo Feng was in the Masters Team for a few months. Uncle Tang was astonished to know about it. He couldn't even get into the Sharp Knife Squad, whereas this kid was on the Masters Team. Luo Feng decides to keep it a secret that he has been to the higher levels, but he doesn't want to scare the old man, so he just smiles at him. Luo Feng then gets down to business and tells Uncle Tang about the thing he has with the Huangs. He also tells him that he can't just give up like this, as it's not an option. Uncle Tang always felt sorry for Dare's mother, but he was literally tired now. The Huangs were now enemies with Luo Feng too, and he suggested that if they stood together, they could easily fight against them. Of course, Luo Feng has an idea. Here, using force was not enough, they needed evidence to undermine the Huangs. Uncle Tang was well aware of the dirty stuff that Huang Hongda had done, and he was ready to trust Luo Feng because he has been on the Masters Team. The deal is done. Luo Feng leaves after dinner, and he waits for the bus at the bus stand. Just then, Zheng Haitian stops his car and asks Luo Feng to get in. Luo Feng tells Zhang Haitian that if he continues to look for him like this, the media may think that he is Luo Feng's father. Zhang Haitian only wanted to thank him for saving his life. Moreover, he also needed a favor. Zhang Haitian wants Luo Feng to be his daughter's bodyguard. Luo Feng couldn't comprehend the situation because it was indeed hard to believe that Zhang Haitian wanted him to be his daughter's bodyguard. Luo Feng is just a high school student, and he didn't have the time to stay with Zhang Weiwei all day. Zhang Haitian only needed him to guard Weiwei on her birthday. He already knew the one who had kidnapped her, and he wanted to get rid of them, but he couldn't leave his daughter alone. Besides, Weiwei didn't like having bodyguards, so Luo Feng was the only one who could do this now. Of course, this wasn't for free, and he was going to get paid for it. Zhang Haitian hands Luo Feng an envelope with at least $10,000. He instantly loved the idea where he just has to stay with Weiwei for a day, and he gets paid. Once the deal is done, Zhang Haitian shoos him out of the car. What a cruel man he is. Anyway, Luo Feng has $10,000, and he was so happy that nothing mattered. Luo Feng heads to his apartment, and as soon as he opens the door, he is amazed to see Junling Meng dressed beautifully like a concubine come out straight from a Chinese costume drama. He never knew that Jun Sensei also played cosplay. Junling Meng thinks he's stupid and tells him that this is Han Chinese clothing. Luo Feng comes without invitation to taste some tea, and she finds it rude that he drinks tea without asking. He cleverly justifies his participation by claiming that there were 2 cups of tea. Luo Feng sniffs and learns that it's the best dragon well tea. He drinks it and then directly gives her some feedback. He tells Ling Meng that the tea is not even done yet and that she was just pretending that she knows how to make tea but actually knows nothing about it. Ling Meng gets annoyed as this kid says it outright. She snatches away the cup and refuses to share more with him. Ling Meng gets super angry, and Luo Feng tells her that instead of looking like an icy queen, she looks like a cute little girl. She tells him that she just likes tea, but once an oldie said that she doesn't have the talent to taste tea. Luo Feng tells her that she just needs feelings and heads to pour a cup of tea for her. Frankly speaking, the most important thing in a tea ceremony is the heart. Luo Feng shows off his tea-making skills. The tea tastes best if it's made by someone who is serious and makes tea with love. He then offers her a cup of tea, and she thinks that this guy has copied someone else's script. Junling Meng praises the taste of the tea, and she didn't know that Luo Feng is a master of tea ceremony too. Is there anything that this guy couldn't do? Luo Feng is no master, but he could tell that Jun Sensei was worried about something. Ling Meng sometimes thinks that he is not an ordinary student, and that his eyes can see directly through people. As Ling Meng wasn't comfortable to talk about it, Luo Feng decides to leave as he didn't want to interfere with her privacy. Just then, Ling Meng asked him to wait and told him that she needed a favor from him. Junling Meng wanted to be his girlfriend for tomorrow. Wait, what? At midnight, when the little birdies sang peacefully, Luo Feng kept running as he was anxious. He stops, huffs, and thinks about what happened earlier. When Junling Meng wanted to be his girlfriend, Luo Feng thought she was joking, as he was just a high school student. Ling Meng only wanted him to be her fake boyfriend for a night, and this is because she's got no choice. Junling Meng has to meet a guy that she doesn't like, and Luo Feng was just a protective shield. Suddenly, he hears someone screaming for help, and a kid is being snatched. The kidnappers were taking away a small kid, and one of them kept hitting and kicking the old woman who stopped them. Luo Feng follows the direction of the sound and rushes to help them. He takes a long leap over the river. It seems like someone was already investigating the matter. The junior fellow reports to his sir that someone jumped across the river, which is at least 10 meters wide. The other kidnapper was ready to drive off, and he signaled his gang members to get in the car quickly. By then, Luo Feng had already arrived there, and he began smashing the one who was hitting the old woman. The other kidnapper with the child in his hand yelled at Luo Feng as he dared to meddle with their issue, and threatened him with a knife. Just with that one damn stare, that guy shuts the fuck up. The guy in the car seems to get impatient and presses the horn continuously. Next up was his turn, and Luo Feng kicks him and breaks the car door. The guy with the child gets so scared that he starts screaming for help, and that crazy man actually forgets that he's a kidnapper himself. The kidnapping gang was successfully knocked down by Luo Feng. The members couldn't get up after the fight, and their vehicle was destroyed. That one guy who had the baby in his hands surrendered him, and he was still trembling in fear. When the investigating team reaches the crime scene, they only find the old woman and the child. The junior one questions the woman about whether all of this was done by one person and asks her about his whereabouts. The woman tells him that this brat is a good person, and he asks her to take care of the baby and leaves. The junior guy informs his sir that the person involved has already left. It seems that the senior investigator knew about that brat. He was sure that it was him, as he is the only one who possesses such great power. It was undoubtedly the same guy whom they were so ashamed of meeting. The next day at school seemed pretty pleasant. Tang Dare was curious to know what Luo Feng had said to his dad. After his visit to their house, Uncle Tang quit drinking, and he even started to work out. Luo Feng shamelessly asks Dare to treat him to a meal as a token of thanks, and Dare readily agrees to treat him to supper. These best friends forgot that they were attending the lecture. Miss Jun calls out to Luo Feng and Tang Dare and warns them that they shouldn't whisper during class. Instead of being startled, Luo Feng flirts and throws a wink at her. Junling Meng gets shy at first, but she pretends as if nothing happened. Luo Feng tells Dare that Miss Jun seems to have graduated from Zhejiang University, and she must be having a lot of suitors. Tang Dare smirks at him and asks him if he's into their teacher. Of course, Junling Meng's got a lot of suitors, and Dare makes fun of him, saying that he will have to queue up in line for a chance to confess. Luo Feng remembers how cruel Junling Meng was as she plans to use him as a shield. Meanwhile, Ling Meng adjusts her dresses as she suddenly starts feeling uncomfortable after that flirty wink from her student. Later, in the evening, Junling Meng hands over a box to Luo Feng, and he notices that it's a branded clothing. He asks her how much it costs, but she cuts him off by telling him to stop talking and quickly put it on. Once he gets the green signal, Luo Feng doesn't hold back anymore. 10 minutes later, this man still looks so damn gorgeous. Luo Feng tells Ling Meng that she has a good taste and that this suit looks really good on him. He needs to stop bragging first. Junling Meng instructs him, saying that he graduated from Harvard and now he owns a listed company, and tells him to remember this. She can't deny that he looks quite handsome after dressing up. He sits on the couch and tells her that he is so excellent, and he didn't even know about it. Miss Jun ignores this joker guy and heads to change her clothes. 2 damn hours later, this pretty lady walks out of her room. Luo Feng was asleep, but he woke up immediately and glared at her. Junling Meng apologizes, as her makeup took some time. Of course it was understandable, and it was worth the wait. Ling Meng looked breathtakingly beautiful. They go down, and Luo Feng suggests that he'll call a car, but it is not needed as Ling Meng has already arranged for everything. She tried hard to make all the dots connect, and as her boyfriend earns $1 million as an annual salary and that he is a successful entrepreneur, it wouldn't make sense if he didn't have his own car. Junling Meng points out at the car, and even the car is a branded one. Luo Feng wonders how much Ling Meng hates that person on whom she spent so much money. Junling Meng asks Luo Feng if he can drive. Since it was teacher Jun's request, Luo Feng would even agree to drive a tank. It sounds cool, but he actually knows how to drive a tank. Luo Feng and Junling Meng get in the car, and he asks her if he should look surprised. There was still one more thing that Ling Meng had to instruct him about. She tells him that, from now on, he should stop calling her Miss Jun. From now on, Luo Feng should call her Ming Meng. He repeats her name and cutely calls her Meng Meng. Luo Feng laughs out loud and accelerates the car. Ling Meng asks him what he is laughing at, and he coughs to cover it up. Luo Feng demands to know the person's identity that he is meeting tonight, as if it's someone he can't afford to offend. Won't he be a fool to get tricked by her? Junling Meng tells him that the guy is a fiancé that her parents found, and he's some rich playboy. When Luo Feng learns that he's a rich guy, he asks Ming Meng that if that guy pays him 10 millions to leave her, should he accept it or not. She gets instantly annoyed, and he enjoys her cuteness. They arrive at the beautiful venue, and Luo Feng is amazed by the view. He can now tell that the guy is really rich. Junling Meng shatters his thoughts and tells him that the ship is rented. They enter in hand. There are a few attendants ready to welcome them. One of them informs Miss Jun that her fiancé has been waiting for her for a while, and he also inquires about the gentleman next to her. Junling Meng tells them that he is her boyfriend, and they walk away, leaving the attendants completely confused. Luo Feng realizes that it's the rich Sidhu family, and he has heard that they are very influential in the capital. Now that he is definitely going to piss them off, he wonders if Ming Meng is planning to get him killed. Junling Meng is surprised to know that Luo Feng already knew about them, and she asks him about it. He tells her that he had heard about the Sidhu family from the deli shop owner downstairs. The fact that there wasn't any such deli shop downstairs at all was well known by Ling Meng. As soon as Mr. Sidhu spots Miss Jun, he calls out to her. He's very welcoming in nature and tells her that he waited for a long time for her. He politely gives her a bouquet of flowers, which she rudely rejects, saying that she doesn't like flowers. Mr. Sidhu seems to be very quick at adapting to a situation, and he quickly throws away the bouquet. He promises her that he'll get her something even better. He then asks Ling Meng to explain why she left the capital city, as it took him so long to find her. Mr. Sidhu compliments Ling Meng, saying that she's getting prettier, and for once she says that she's flattered and likes everything here. Next up, he invites Ming Meng for a luxurious meal that he has prepared for her, and that the beef was specially imported. Ling Meng tries to refuse him again, but Luo Feng interferes, saying that since the host was inviting them, they shouldn't refuse. Ling Meng agrees, like a cute and obedient girlfriend. Finally, Mr. Sidhu notices this stranger guy, who has been standing next to his fiancée from the very beginning. Mr. Sidhu inquires about him and asks him why he is holding her hand. He then yells at him to let go of her hand and calls for a security check as there's a suspicious person on board. This guy is seriously very slow. Junling Meng informs Sidhu Mingjai that Luo Feng is her man, and he should show him some respect. Sidhu Mingjai gets mad at once and blames Luo Feng for having snatched his woman, and he tells him to fuck off. Luo Feng holds his hand as Mingjai comes forward to attack him. Luo Feng warns him by saying that he better take back what he said, or the best he could do is leave him with a complete body as he respects his brother Mingfeng. Mingjai asks Luo Feng about how he knew that he has a brother. Luo Feng tells him the same damn thing that the deli shop owner downstairs told him. He threatens Mingjai and tells him to quickly apologize if he doesn't want to die. Sidhu Mingjai immediately apologizes. Luo Feng had offended Sidhu Mingjai. Moreover, he also dared to challenge the Sidhu family. Mingjai was shit scared of him and asks him who the hell he is. Luo Feng tells him that he is his grandfather, and he hadn't expected that the Sidhus would tolerate the existence of a trust fund baby like him. Sidhu Mingjai is in no position to fight back, and just then an old man meddles with the situation by saying that Mingjai is the only reason he is still alive. He sums up by saying that if it didn't respect Mingjai, Luo Feng would have already died. This oldie was none other than Junling Meng's grandfather. Luo Feng doesn't seem happy to meet this old man. Ling Meng's grandpa came here specially to see his precious granddaughter, but he didn't expect to meet Luo Feng here. He greets Luo Feng as they meet after a long time. Ling Meng asks her grandpa about how he knew Luo Feng. Of course, he knew Luo Feng, as they were more than just acquaintances. The old man tells Luo Feng that since they parted on the broken sky cliff, they have been searching for him for 2 years, and it was really surprising to meet him here. Luo Feng demanded to know why the old man was searching for him, as he should be busy looking for the wronged soul under the cliff. Luo Feng seems to be burning with rage, but he tries to control himself. Ling Meng's grandfather clearly tells Luo Feng that there was no wronged soul there, and they had sent people to search there 10 times. But they couldn't even find her dead body. Luo Feng argues, saying that there's a good amount of wild beasts that live down there, and it doesn't prove any point if he couldn't find a body in that place. Junling Meng has no damn idea of what these guys were talking about. Luo Feng firstly apologizes to her, saying that he cannot help her anymore and that he needs to go back first. The grandfather intends to stop this guy from going and tells him that after he left, the people in the Xuanyuan sect lost their faith in its integrity, and even the top notches, all of them left. He was sure that they were waiting for Luo Feng to come back. Luo Feng was not ready for this, and he tells the old man that he is not God. The earth would still be rotating even without him, and he just wants to be an ordinary high school student. Luo Feng found it really difficult to just live like a simple person. The old man calls out to him and tries to stop him. Meanwhile, another guy tries to stop Luo Feng, and he seems to be very much loyal to Master Jun. He even goes the extra mile and scolds Luo Feng because he doesn't stop. Luo Feng gives him a death stare and tries to move. Jiang Tao smacks him on the shoulder and calls him an arrogant brat. This guy is now done for the day. The very next moment, Luo Feng pushes Jiang Tao so hard that he bumps straight into the wall. Junling Meng tries to stop the fight, but they don't listen to her. Jiang Tao manages to get up, and he's ready to fight again. Fighting with Luo Feng was similar to fighting with thin air. It was possible, as this guy is extremely powerful. Luo Feng just leaves, and Jiang Tao kneels before his master and criticizes himself, saying that he is useless. Master Jun tells him that he doesn't have to blame himself because he just lost to an abnormal person. Luo Feng is number 1 in all sorts of fight rankings, and he is famously known as Devil King Luo. Luo Feng heads straight to a vibrant club, where he pours himself a drink. He gulps up the drink and bangs the glass on the bar counter. The club seems to be chaotic as hell, but he sits there alone and dives deep into his own world. Luo Feng, who was once a famous devil king, remembers his sad past. He exactly remembers what happened that day on the broken sky cliff. He cannot forget how he was forced to withdraw and how she fell off the cliff, and he could do nothing even after being so fucking powerful. Luo Feng definitely regretted it. He soon gets back to reality, and just as he's about to sip on his drink, a girl rushes into him out of nowhere. Because of the force, his glass almost knocks out of his hand, and the drink spills all over him. He gets instantly annoyed and stares at her, thinking what the heck is wrong with her. This girl who dashed into him is a young girl with a pretty shade of blue-dyed hair, and she's good looking. She sincerely apologizes to Luo Feng and tells him that she didn't do it on purpose. Luo Feng, on the other hand, finds her very cute. She keeps on explaining how she got panicked while walking and so she accidentally pushed him. Luo Feng suddenly changes his whole behavior, smiles like a puppy, and tells her that it's all okay. He also asks her if there's anything that he could do for her. This girl is a bit weird, and she kept looking back as if she were searching for someone. Soon her eyes grow wide and she panics. She bends down and crawls between Luo Feng's legs. Luo Feng is shocked to see where she is going and wonders what she is going to do. He was sure that this beautiful lady was going to blow him up tonight. He was fine with it, but things were too fast-paced. Luo Feng tells her that she doesn't have to be so straightforward, and that they can go slow. It would be better if they could exchange contact information and have a chat first. She doesn't know what to do, so she decides to hide here. She tells him to keep it and asks him to help her hide from this predicament. This lady was begging him now, and Luo Feng couldn't refuse this beauty. At the club, a one-eyed man seems to be a gang leader, and he yells at his subordinates, calling them pigs because they lost a person in the blink of an eye. He was searching for the same beauty who he had seen run in that direction. He urges the other members to hurry up, as they will get into some serious trouble if she escapes. Another member positively tells his leader that she can't escape. As soon as they leave, Luo Feng informs her. Although he didn't mind her hiding a little longer, he couldn't promise that he wouldn't have any reaction. That's because she was hiding near his sensitive areas. The girl realizes it, and she apologizes right away. She comes out of her hiding area and apologizes again. Luo Feng is alright with it. Although he didn't know how she offended those people, he advised her that she should hurry and leave. The girl thanks him and leaves. Phew, Luo Feng thought that he had suddenly become a lady killer, but it turns out that he's just drunk. After a while, the gang successfully catches the girl. The one-eyed man calls her a bitch and tells her to tell them where she hid the video footage. The girl screams and yells so that they will let her go. She tells them that she didn't shoot anything, but they obviously don't believe her. The other member warns her that it's useless to be stubborn, as they'll tear her off and search her later. Coincidentally, this girl passes by Luo Feng and she asks him for help. She tells him to call the police. When he doesn't react to her, she begs him again and again. The one-eyed man tells his member to hurry up and drag her inside. The gang surrounds Luo Feng, and one of them tries to threaten him, saying that he'd better shut his eyes and pretend that nothing happened or else he'll have to bear the consequences. The guy walks away and murmurs that he doesn't think that Luo Feng dared to provoke the Black Fox gang. To be honest, Luo Feng wasn't interested in sticking his nose into this matter, but as soon as he heard the name of the Black Fox gang, his blood began to boil. Luo Feng grabs that man and bangs his head continuously on the bar counter. He had this pure hatred towards the Black Fox gang. No matter where he went, these motherfuckers were there everywhere. He wondered if all these sobs were the sons of the same bitch. This Black Fox gang always shows up together, causing trouble. The last time, Luo Feng had clearly told them that they shouldn't appear before him again. Yet these fuckers roamed around him and annoyed him. The one-eyed dragon finally gets into the conversation and asks Luo Feng about himself. He sums up by asking whether Luo Feng didn't know whose turf this is. The crowd discusses the one-eyed dragon and the person who dared to piss him off. For those who weren't aware of it, in the Black Fox gang there are 4 big shots: the Great White Shark, the Black Bear, the Crazy Tiger, and the One-Eyed Dragon. They are all merciless men who were capable of causing bloodshed effortlessly. So the young man was in trouble, and there would be a good show to watch. The One-Eyed Dragon was a bar owner who couldn't stand by and watch Luo Feng cause a ruckus on his turf, so he demanded to know his name. Luo Feng tells him that he's a black police cat and uses his hands to make gun gestures. He swiftly pairs it with all kinds of crazy sounds and tells them to put their hands up. Wow, at this point, this crazy guy can really do anything. One of the gang members informs their boss that it seems like this kid is drunk, and he orders to beat him up and throw him out. As their business relies on reputation, they avoid doing anything publicly as it might scare away other customers. The one-eyed dragon tells Luo Feng to follow them to the back and negotiate if he wants to make a complaint. Luo Feng refuses and instead states that he wants to go to a hotel room with that girl. The one-eyed dragon clearly tells him that this woman shot their secrets, and unless she hands over the video, they won't let her leave. Luo Feng pretends that the secret recordings are with him and tries to search for them. A few of the gang members come forward to search him up. Luo Feng stares at them fiercely, and their bodies start trembling automatically. He picks up his drink and tells the gang members that they act so arrogantly, yet at the most all they can do is just search a woman. Luo Feng further provoked them, saying that trash is trash, and even if they got themselves a dominant gang name, they couldn't cover the fact that they are just little weaklings. Luo Feng was successful in provoking the Black Fox gang, and people couldn't stop gossiping about it. Some praised him for being so cool, whereas some of them were shit scared. One of the pathetic members threatens Luo Feng, saying that he is courting death because he dared to look down on them. Luo Feng was not even bothered, but he ignored their threats. He clearly told them that he was tired of living and that if they dared, they should come and get him. Luo Feng calls him an ugly coward. Oh, he just got personal, but here everything was fair. Moreover, it wasn't that man's fault that he looked ugly. Luo Feng, on the other hand, was worried because there was no beer in his glass, so he ordered the little girl to pour beer for him. The gang members had this crazy urge to beat the shit out of this brat as he's so annoying. But the one-eyed dragon stops them. He knew that they were no match for him. Luo Feng wouldn't have dared to provoke them if he wasn't capable of it. But since he messed with them, the one-eyed dragon decides to break something for him, or else people would mock him for life. Now the members want their boss to teach him a lesson. He then challenges Luo Feng and tells him that he knows a few tricks about shooting darts, and as long as he avoids one dart from him, he will let Luo Feng and this chick go. Almost every person around him knew that shooting darts was the one-eyed dragon's personal secret art, and it is said that it can invisibly kill people. They were more thrilled to witness this art in person. The girl barges in, and she states that his secrets are still with her, and that this matter has nothing to do with Luo Feng. She finally agrees to give that thing to them, and they had to let Luo Feng go as he's only a drunk passerby. Even Luo Feng was excited to witness his tricks and encouraged the one-eyed dragon to show off his great art. The one-eyed dragon realizes that this boy's got balls. The clubbing activities are put on hold, and there's pin drop silence all around. Luo Feng, who's drunk as fuck, dances there, saying that there's a chicken in his left hand and a duck in his right hand. This guy is totally amazing, as he can fool around carelessly. Luo Feng was actually lucky to be able to see the one-eyed dragon's skills. In order to obtain this skill, he even blinded one of his eyes. It was a fact that his dart was faster than bullets, and to date no one has been able to dodge it. The one-eyed dragon was ready to give Luo Feng a painful death. Luo Feng gulps one more drink down, and the very next moment he is attacked with 3 damn darts. The one-eyed dragon was despicable, but this is how he survived and rose to his current position. Even if someone missed the first dart, they could hide nowhere and would definitely be killed by the following 2 darts. Surprisingly, Luo Feng captures all the darts in his glass. The Black Fox gang really needed to practice their skills before showing them off. The girl rushes towards Luo Feng, and she compliments him, saying that he's simply awesome. It was now time for them to leave, and as soon as they try to leave, the gang members surround them. Cheaters. The one-eyed dragon couldn't deny the fact that he misjudged Luo Feng, but he couldn't let the girl leave unless she handed over the footage. He truly respected Luo Feng as a master, but the chick had to stay back. The girl sticks her tongue out at him, and now this girl is not scared of anything as she has Luo Feng by her side. She was determined to expose their dirty deeds. Meanwhile, Luo Feng concluded that the only eye of Mr. Dragon was as good as blind, so he shot one of the darts straight into his other eye. The one-eyed dragon. Oh, sorry, the no-eye dragon screams in pain. Anyway, he didn't need that eye. So that is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. So if you like the video, then hit that like button and leave a comment for the next part. Most important, subscribe and press the bell icon for notification. I will meet you in the new video. Till then, bye.